I've ordered a surprise box on the internet. It surprised me in all the wrong ways. Written by Reddit user inletharn.
Receive a chilling experience with our surprise box. 5 items that will make shivers crawl down your spine and reveal your hidden fears. 14 days money back guarantee, the website said. But I'm getting ahead of myself. It all started when I discovered the thing called mystery boxes. If you don't know what that is, you pay about 20 to 40 euros and receive a box filled with different themed stuff. It's quite a popular thing. That evening, I was browsing aimlessly, and an ad reminded me that these existed. I googled a bit, and the search returned a bunch of links and brief descriptions. Frankly, most of the things were aimed for children's entertainment, with Harry Potter and Paw Patrol and other cartoon and family-friendly universes. Some interesting ones popped up too. Classic slashers. It came from outer space, and morbid creatures. Examining the previous month section, which actually revealed what was sent out in previous months, I saw a bunch of minifigures, posters, some branded mugs and other crap. But I was looking for something different. So I modified the search to mature surprise box plus horror plus scary. And it returned another pile of links, with the topmost being the one I've opened just recently. And indeed, the store that was selling all those Harry Potter and Star Wars junk had a section called Pure Nightmare Material. I even had to select and confirm my age to be able to view the page. Surprisingly, it had no previous monthly drops displayed, and the statement said it was an experimental thing they had just launched. Exciting. So I grabbed my credit card and filled in the info instantly. The description said something about revealing the nightmares you never knew even existed, and that the assembly and delivery will take around 5 to 10 business days. The whole thing was like $24.99 or something. The long wait resulted in a postal notification 2 weeks later, and that day I came home with a box. It wasn't large. It's about 30 by 30 by 30 centimeters or so. And when I removed the packaging, it came out even smaller. A black cardboard box with silver letters printed on top, reading, Pure Nightmare Material, Issue 1. Wow. The guys out there really knew how to make an impression. And so, with raising excitement, I took the box cutter and carefully cut the plastic seal to reveal the inside. There were 5 smaller boxes made of the same black cardboard, stacked next to each other, and every one of them had separate writing on top. Left to right, in the same silver letters they read, obsession, sympathy, life, desperation, and finally, tranquility. Boy oh boy. I smiled in my chair just like a kid on Christmas. This was quite something. So I made myself some tea, took a deep breath to calm down my impatience, and reached for the first box named Obsession. What could it be? Inside there was a plastic bag with a zipper containing a pair of, how would I say this correctly? A pair of ladies' underwear. I'm not an expert of any sort, but it seemed to me that these were worn previously. A pair of blue ladies' underwear with a pattern of white and yellow flowers. I checked the box thoroughly, but nothing else was there. I expected a note at least saying that these were haunted underwear of a prostitute killed by a maniac or something like that. But no, just the awkward bag and the underwear in it. Suddenly the door clicked. My girlfriend was back from work. Hey honey, before you ask anything, don't freak out. There's something I need to show you, I said, greeting her in the hall. I've ordered a surprise box, and, well, it came with a surprise indeed. These were inside. Before you ask anything, I have no idea what it means. I just didn't want you to find them tossed in the trash and get the wrong impression. She kept silent for a moment, and then suddenly her lower lip started to tremble, and tears poured down her cheeks. Give me a moment, I'll be right back, she said, covering her mouth with the palm of her hand, making her way to the bathroom. I didn't expect a reaction like that. Diana had a great sense of humour. This was something completely different. I stood there in the room, listening to sobs and flowing water from the bathroom. Finally, she came out with her face all red and swollen, makeup poorly washed, leaving some traces on her cheekbones. Jake, I can't. I don't know how you found out, but I can't keep it from you anymore. Do you remember my birthday party 2 years ago? The one where you received a call from work and had to leave because of urgent problems with your stupid project? Well, I got drunk that night. I didn't go to sleep over with Pam. There was a guy in the restaurant, and I was so angry at you and so drunk. Jake, I cheated on you. And those, she pointed at the underwear lying on the table. I think I forgot them at his place. I'm so sorry. I'll give you some space, okay? I don't know if you can forgive me. We argued for 20 more minutes, and finally she left. She said she'd stay at her mother's place so I could think about our relationship and if I could forgive her after what she did. I got drunk that night, and no, I won't whine about how bad it was or anything. You don't need that in your life. This event kicked the chair from under my feet, and for a couple of days I didn't come back to the box. I didn't see any connection back then. As you know, coincidences can strike quite unexpectedly. But as my rage and sad thoughts started to fade away, one evening I was bored and recalled I still had it waiting for me. So I took out the second box entitled Sympathy to reveal another zip bag with a heart-shaped pendant and a note this time. The pendant was a cheap one, just like one of those ones you could get at a fair for dirt cheap, and I had a vague feeling I'd seen it before somewhere. The note said, "Ask Kirk about it." Well, that was strange, yet I knew exactly what to do. You see, Kirk is my best friend's name. We were inseparable since early childhood until our adult lives separated us. He was a married man and had a couple of kids and lived on the opposite side of the city. We still called each other regularly and played some video games online from time to time. I've no idea how those folks found out about him. Probably took their business seriously and tracked my Facebook page to get the details. I remember clicking through some personal data consent and allowing cookies, but hey, every site has that these days. It was quite an intriguing development. I jumped into the car and drove straight to him. Luckily it was only a half an hour drive. "Yo, Kirk, I bought this thing," I explained to him as we greeted each other. "And well, this piece was inside? Does it remind you of anything?" I asked. "I know, it's stupid, but I was just curious." "No, not a clue, Jake. Sorry, mate. You want a beer or two? Since you made it all the way down here?" "Nah, I have to work tomorrow, but thanks for asking and say hi to Liz," I replied. Something in his voice caught my attention. I'm not sure what it was. I swear there was something odd, but I didn't give it a second thought. I got home and double-checked the page of the company. Yes, indeed, a small text. Of course it's the small text. Said that the company requires consent on using personal data of the buyer to come up with the best experience possible, such as checking through social media pages for details and such and such and such. I've heard stories about evil corporations stealing data, but I'm the kind of guy that has nothing to hide, so... I took out the third box with the word life imprinted on the top. As the second item was a bit of a disappointment, I had high expectations for this one. I revealed the contents and became the owner of not just one, but 3 weird things this time. There was a small pillowcase with teddy bears and stars with stripes, which I guess resembled comets, and a pair of massive pink plastic earrings, just like the ones you could see in the 80s movies. I sat there for 15 minutes trying to figure out the connection between the items, when the glimmer of a distant memory from my childhood surfaced. I was not quite sure, but I had a memory of my mum wearing the exact same pair when she was younger. So I decided to FaceTime her and ask her, "Hi, sweetheart, how's it going? It's been a couple of weeks since you called. Everything okay?" my mum said. "Hi, yes, everything's alright, just been a bit busy. No worries," I replied, and we spoke about various topics. I finally showed her the earrings. "Do you recognise these? I think you had the exact same ones back in the day." I held them in front of the camera, twisting them around so she could take a better look. "No, sweetie, I have no memory of those. Where did you get them?" she asked, so I briefly explained to her the concept of a surprise box, and said that this one is more of a game type where you are sent clues and have to figure them out. This was inside too. Maybe this will ring a bell. I showed her the pillowcase, making sure she saw the pattern clearly. It has teddy bears and comments on it. Any ideas?" She paused, looking carefully, and then replied, swallowing hard. "No, Jake. I'm sorry, I don't recall any of those. I hope I don't ruin your game." I said it was okay, and we talked a little more before hanging up. Strange. A shocking coincidence in the first box, and absolutely nothing in the following two. I guess that's what you get for $24.99. They try to come up with something, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Oh well. I had stuff to do, so I moved on to household tasks and worked on the next project, until it grew quite late and I headed to bed. A telephone call woke me up in the middle of the night. It was my mother. Being afraid that something horrible had happened, as both my parents weren't that young anymore, I grabbed the phone. "Yes. Hello, what's happened, Mum?" "Jake, I want you to listen to me, and please don't interrupt before I finish." She sounded like she'd been drinking. Her speech slurred over the crackle of the call. "When we just got you, me and your dad, we were young and foolish. We thought that we could do anything together, and we were ready to be a family, but that was hard. When I got you, it was really painful, Jake. We didn't have money, and having a kid is tough. We lived in a rented apartment and barely could find money to feed ourselves. I was depressed. I was not thinking straight back then, and you were crying all the time. Drove me mad. One day," she stopped for a second, and I heard sobbing. "One day when your father went to work, I couldn't bear it anymore. You both were causing so much trouble. I just couldn't. I decided that you were a mistake. So I took the pillow and she went on crying and weeping. "Jake, I killed your sister, and wouldn't have stopped there if it wasn't for your father, who had come home because he forgot his wallet." The admission fired like a gunshot in the silence. "I killed her with a pillow that had on the same pillowcase you showed me today. We never told anyone about it. Everybody thinks she just... Oh God. I don't know if you can ever forgive me, Jake." The weeping continued. I just hung up and sat in the darkness of my bedroom, silent, as if something was broken inside of me. My own mother. I couldn't believe it. No way. She was so caring and sweet for all the time that I could remember, always treating me with love and care. Suddenly my phone buzzed, and I checked it automatically, with my thoughts still being somewhere far away. It was an email from my best friend, and the notification read, "Hey Jake, there's something I need to tell you. Do you remember Becky? I don't know what forced me to open it, but the following message put the final blow to my collapsing mind. "Do you remember Becky? The one you dated when we were in high school? Of course you do. You said she was the love of your life. I remember how devastated you were when she committed suicide. Jake, truth is, she never did it. I did. I killed her and set up everything to look like a suicide. Why? Because I was young and stupid. I couldn't make her mine because she was so in love with you. I couldn't understand what she found so great about you and why I was cast aside. So I killed her with my own hands. That pendant you showed me, she was wearing it that day. A pale, still chest and a cheap heart pendant. That image is burned into my eyelids. I see it every time I close my eyes. I'm sorry, Jake. There's nothing that could excuse me. I don't believe you'll understand. I just want to confess. I live with the guilt every single day. And you, showing up at my door with the exact same thing. I can't take it anymore. I'm turning myself in. I'm sorry." That was too much. I snapped. I cried and rushed around like a wild animal, breaking things, hurting myself. But that didn't matter. Sometime after, I was taken away in an ambulance, accompanied by the police, who were apparently called by one of my neighbours. I was released from hospital a couple of days later and came back to my broken apartment. I swept up the glass and mopped the floors. I was again alone, broken, and miserable. The The box was still there on my desk with 2 secrets left. I have no intention of opening them. I think I will burn them. What do they say? Ignorance is bliss? But that's not the end. It seems that I didn't just buy the box itself, but paid for a subscription, as I just received a notification that another package awaits me. I don't know what I fear the most. Revealing the secret that's inside, or living amongst the monsters without knowing who or what they are. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe, comment, share and like, and press the bell to get notifications when new videos are uploaded. If you have a story that you want Jimmy Horrors to read, send it to jimmyhorrorsnarrations@gmail.com. Until next time, stay horrific everyone.